with you. And many times, the ones that try to kill you are the ones you've been anointed to help. Slap your neighbor. Say, every time I tried to do good, evil, okay, you gotta say evil, was always around me. People trying to take advantage of me. People trying to manipulate, dominate, and control me. Oh, and they try to do it like I don't realize what's going on. I've been crucified because I shout like I shout. Crucified because I believe what I believe. You know why? I believe what I believe. See, when you know him, you can talk about him. I believe what I believe because he brought me to what mama left me in. He brought me to what daddy left me in. He brought me to what the spouse left me in. He brought me to what the root doctor tried to. So I'm crucified now because I believe. Look at your neighbor and say, I can't help that I am a believer. I'm closing here. We find in the text. I'm closing in 16 minutes. Time. We find in the text. The writer is Apostle John. He wrote the text 85 to 90 years after the death of Jesus. But look at your neighbor. Say, I'm glad the story didn't end with his death. Can I say that right there? Aren't you glad that your life isn't going to end just because folks try to assassinate your character? They try to assassinate your name. But look at your neighbor. Say, that's not the end of my story. People may have left similar refuge, but that's not the end of our story. Good God, yeah. Sit down in your heart. Good God, yeah. Say yeah. Good God, yeah. Say yeah. 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 Y'all want to talk here? I'll push my way through. So we find in the text was written as the incarnation of the eternal Word, the Son of God, himself being God, that the name of our God may be revealed. The Yeshua meaning God with us. Slap your neighbor. Say, no matter where you are in your life, God is with you. Shake their hand and say, God is with you. John begins to write the text about Jesus Christ, the divinely human one. He writes about the Christ in the Greek, the Christos, the anointed one. See, some of you been crucified, but you've been anointed for that. Slap somebody and say, Christos, the anointed one. I've been anointed for what I'm dealing with right now. Slap somebody and say, I've been anointed for this. I know the enemy told you it was going to take you out, and it will be the end of your story. But you got to say, I've been anointed for this. The Bible said, I'm closing, y'all, but I feel like picking out into my side. Can I preach this for a few more minutes? The Bible said, in the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. The Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. We beheld his glory, the glory of the only begotten of the Father. I'm trying to close here. We find in the text, because before I can deal with resurrection, let me deal with crucifixion. Slap your neighbor. Say, he did it for me. Before we got to crucifixion, we find Jesus in the garden of Gethsemane. He said, stay right here. Peter, James, and John. I've got to go pray to my Father. And because we're monotheists, we know God is one. So why did Jesus go to pray to himself? Only for example. Slap your neighbor. Say, no matter how anointed you are, there will come a time in your life when you got to leave everybody and go seek God for yourself, by yourself. Is there anybody here that thanks God for neology? I know how to seek Him for myself. The Bible said Jesus with his good self. I might as well preach my last 8 minutes. Jesus, good God, yeah. He begins to talk to the Father. He says, let this cup pass from me. He said, but nevertheless, to this end was I born. You got to realize he was understanding. He was born to die. His destiny was to die on the tree just for me. Slap somebody and say, he died on the tree just for me. I thank God for you, but he did it. Good God, yeah. Understand, when you are fulfilling what we call destiny, your flesh will talk like Jesus. His flesh talked. He said, let this cup pass from me. When you are fulfilling your destiny, you will be put in situations of discomfort, frustration, sorrow, and humiliation. But look at your neighbor. Say, don't abandon, don't forfeit your destiny. Lord, I'm willing. Lord, don't sit down, I'm not there yet. I'm willing. Lord, I'm willing. I'm willing. It doesn't feel good, but Lord, I'm willing. I don't understand why it looks like I'm the only one in the garden going through. God, how can Peter, James, and John be in the garden with me and they don't even feel my pain? When you're going to fulfill destiny, people will be close to you and won't be able to feel your pain. Understand, you've been asking, why does it look like I go service after service? The prophet didn't call me out and tell me they see what I'm going through. Look like nobody knows, but some of I see. But slap your neighbor. Say it's for the glory, for the glory. Peter, James, and John, they're right there asleep. You got folk in your life that are sleeping on your destiny. Slap your neighbor. Say, don't sleep on my destiny. Preach, black boy. All right, I will. Can I preach? Should I preach? Why don't y'all open your mouth? Tell me to preach here. Sit down, y'all. I'm almost done now. In the garden of Gethsemane, there's a man by the name of Judas Iscariot. He comes in with a whole lot of soldiers. He said, the one I kiss, that's the one you want. Slap your neighbor. So when destiny is over your life, you better watch those folk with enticing words. Watch those folk. I love your apostle. I love your minister. I love your prophet. That's my man of God. That's the same hellions. When you need them the most, they'll kiss you to kill you. Kiss you to kill you.